go to 25 and be happy. I'm very, I'm very happy and very excited. Being able to get to 2025. Considering the past episodes and whatnot, yes, this is a huge feat, and I'm really happy, and I hope you're also happy that umeanza mwaka mpya pamoja nasi. This being our first episode, I wanted to first do a small brief of what has been happening. First and foremost, as you all know, I'm still employed. So, and it's in the hospitality industry. So, from August to December, we've been busy like crazy. So, the only time I could have taken my off is in January, which I did. Now, it's coming to an end this week. Now, between hiyo wiki moja, that 1 week, starting January, that I was able to take my off. I think it was from 6th. Yes. I've been able to travel quite a lot, but seeing relatives, spending time with relatives and friends who are family, all over Meru, Embu, and Chuka, and also Kirogoya. I've been able to do that, and I feel it was a much needed break. Then I was also able to spend time in nature, the forest. Like I went to Camp Dunda and did their nature walk. It was quite nice. Then I was also able to spend time in a shag oriented environment, which for me is very very important. Like I love being in nature. I love waking up to the birds singing. I love the nature cycle where you wake up in the morning and you go get fresh milk from your neighbor who has cows, or you want to buy eggs, you just go to your neighbor who has chicken. I love that. I love that very much, and I'm happy I was able to do that this holiday, the beginning of 2025. Something else I also learned, I decided to take an English test. I do have, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 American listeners, and I'm trying to have my English sound like English. So in the beginning of the year, I took a test. I think they're called IELTS. I think so. And honestly, I thought my English was good. I thought I was speaking English, man. Imagine I failed. Like ilikuwa only speaking English. Like the test was just speaking English. You didn't have the written test. You didn't have anything else. It was you speaking. Like they would give you a paragraph and ask you to read it, or give you a sentence and ask you to repeat it. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to score the way I thought I would. And I realized one of the goals for 2025 is to take English speaking lessons. Well, that one was very, very humbling. I was also, the beginning of this year, I was also given the opportunity to to hang out with people I haven't hung out with kitambo. And hopefully by the end of the year, I shall not be single anymore, because kuna future. There is a future somewhere. Anyway, that is the brief for me starting 2025. I was also able to enroll to their free classes, by the way. If anyone is looking for a channel where they can study whatever they want to study, kuna free options on Allison. It's an app where you can take classes. You can take lessons for any. I think majority of them are very free. A lot of them are free. Then if they're charged, it's a reasonable amount, but the ones that I'm taking are quite free. I decided to also take a German class, though according to English I'm supposed to say German. Yep. German class. And I also decided to dust up my coding lessons, so I'm currently doing Java. Yep, I'm almost done with module 1, so I'm so excited about that. I also wanted to enroll, like, there are a lot of things that I'm already looking into doing them. I reached out to a lot of people, especially in terms of digital marketing and sales. This year, I want to upscale. I want to learn more. I want to know more. Because when you don't know what you don't know, you really don't know where to improve. So you might be thinking you're okay, and it turns out you're not even close to being okay, and hiyo imenipatia a very huge challenge. So I've been reaching out to people who do those things, asking them if they could connect me with someone or organizations or whatever that has that provide people with this classes to be able to improve, like you're able to improve your skills. Yeah, so far so good. So far so good. Like that for me was the beginning of 2025. Like within the first week of 2025, those are the things that I I did. Then the other thing was I'm looking into getting a place to do this podcast. I'm still looking for such a place. Usually, like today, I don't know where my mic is, and this is the last Sunday that I'm going to be free. So I'm like, uh, if I had a place to go shoot, I wouldn't worry about this. I don't know where my mic is, and I'm just too exhausted. I'm just too tired to look for it. Then this year I wanted to lean more, like last year, those few months that we did those episodes was mostly to get my audience to know more about me, and now I'm leaning towards now exploring other topics, the ones that make you realize you're not grown. Now, early this year, let me now jump into the topic. Early this year, not even early this year, late last year, there was this movie that came out, It Ends With Us, and it was something that a lot of people were looking forward to. I wasn't, because I don't know what it is about, but in the US, a lot of people are looking forward to it because of a book written by someone, a book written by someone that was being adapted into the movie. And what got me excited about it was when they were doing the press run, and I saw this guy by the name Justin, who was in Jane the Virgin, if I'm not wrong, because he's the guy, Jane the Virgin. And I watched Jane the Virgin a while ago, and ikanifanya nikuwa a little bit excited. I was like, maybe this is something that I would watch. Maybe this is something that I would look forward to watching. And then I saw also Blake Lively was part of it. And I don't know much about Blake, to be honest, because I tried watching, was it Gossip Girl or whichever yenye yako, I tried watching it, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't, I couldn't flow with it. So I stopped. I have friends, I have family who have watched that series severally, but every time, even when they're watching it, I try to follow it, like what is happening, what is going on. It doesn't flow for me. So I don't know much about her other than she was the wife to Ryan Reynolds. I love Deadpool. Even Ryan, I didn't know much about him until Deadpool. I loved Deadpool, so that's where I knew him from. So this movie, those two are the leads, and during the press run, something that caught my eye was the separate interaction that they were having with the press. Like this person was doing press alone, the other one was doing press alone, and I thought, maybe this is their plan all along. Because you find like when Marvel is doing press runs, sometimes you'd find characters from that movie. Not all of them are doing the same press. Like some of them would be doing something else, others would be doing another thing. Like when we had the Winter Soldier, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, you'd find the Winter Soldier. And the name has just disappeared, and he used to be my crush. That guy, Sebastian. Yeah, Sebastian would be doing a press run with maybe someone else. and Captain America will be doing a press run with someone else. Like not all of them were doing these press runs together. So it wasn't for me. It did catch my eye because these were the main characters. But at the same time, I was like, maybe it is part of their whatever. And then, being someone who walks the YouTube streets a lot, I started seeing narratives that this person was not promoting the movie as it is, while the other person was promoting the movie as something else. So I got curious and I started following that discussion from there, because I was like, this person is saying this is DV based movie. This other person is saying this is a romantic comedy movie. And you're like, okay, which one is it? Ama, what is the plan here? Like, what are we doing here? And eventually people were like, apana, this chick now, Blake, is not doing is not promoting the movie the right way. Like, this Blake person is also promoting her hair care line. She's also promoting sijui something else, sijui to do with herself. She's also trying to make it seem like the movie is connected to Deadpool and Wolverine. And like ilianza those shenanigans kidogo kidogo, and then eventually I was like, this sounds like a story I should follow. And now I got invested. Like, I was completely invested in finding out what was happening. And then sasa ndio things started trending, like Blake was rude to interviewers, Blake was doing this to other people, Blake was doing the other to other people, hizo vitu zote. And of course, being someone who doesn't know Blake, you will immediately start stepping back, because you're like, this person, I didn't even know them, but from the people that have watched her, I think since she was a child, they are having this type of reaction towards her. And knowing Justin, of course, I was leaning towards the person that I knew, and most people also leaning towards him. And then, was it early this year, Ama, was it end of December, Blake files a lawsuit, and I'm like, what is this? Something was happening last year, and down. Happening in all this, I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Like, what is this that is going on? But then again, I said, like, during Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's issue, before they even got to court, I was like, I don't know this chick. I know Johnny Depp, but still, I don't know him as well as this chick knows him, being the person that she was with. So you just keep your wits about yourself. You're like, let me see how this one goes. So when she filed her lawsuit, I was like, this is quite interesting. And if this guy did all these things that this chick is saying he did, then this guy should be held accountable. And during that time, I found out that the guy was also a self-identifying feminist, if I'm not wrong. And I have a bias towards guys who self-identify as feminist. For me, I think it's a personal thing. I find it weird. I don't know why. But majority of the people who identify as male feminist, ukiangalia the track record is usually very questionable. Because it's either someone who was very, like, extremely misogynistic, and now they've swung their pendulum so far back that they're identifying as male feminist. And for me, it raises a lot of questions. And the other breed is either someone who is a Trojan horse, essentially. Like, they're covering who they are deep inside them and pretending to be a male feminist so that they can have more women gravitate towards them. So I've never held them with any esteem. So when I found out he was, I was like, let me see how this one goes. In as much as he is the one that I knew, let me see how this one goes. And then just a few days after Blake's lawsuit, this guy files a counter against the newspaper that had printed the things that Blake had said had happened. Now, what had Blake said in her, I think, lawsuit? She cited sexual harassment, saying that they were not provided an intimacy coordinator, and showing pornography on set, discussing his pornography addiction and things of that sort, and calling Blake sexy and things of that sort. And these are things that can make a woman, I don't know about men, but it can make a woman very, very uncomfortable. I can cite a scenario where back in campus, a friend of mine was very blessed chest-wise. Like, she was very blessed chest-wise. And sometimes you'd find that whenever she would hug someone, they would they would hold her back so that they can keep their chest in contact. And that thing was creepy. It was creepy as hell. And I would notice it, but she never said anything. And I also didn't want to be the person who was reading too much into something, like those reactions and whatnot. But personally, even me being an observer, it made me very uncomfortable. I can only imagine what it did to her. So when Blake was citing these things, I was like, this is bad. This is crazy. This is someone who is actually harassing you. And Nakasema, she reported it. So when this guy comes back and counters and says, no, these things, yes, they did happen, but not in the context that this lady is saying that they did. To the point where some of this prolonged contact, they were initiated by Blake. Like, people have videos of the guy trying to pull away from Blake, but Blake is the one who is pulling him towards him. Is the issues of the coordination and the intimacy scenes and whatnot. He has evidence that he hired someone to take charge of that, but Blake didn't want to meet with this person. When Blake said they were showing pornography on set, turns out they were rehearsing for a bathing scene, and one of the producers was showing her a video of the wife giving birth as an inspiration towards the vision that he wanted for that movie. So you find yourself in a weird position, because immediately when I read that, first of all, it triggered me very much. Because I have someone in my life right now who is very adept to misrepresenting facts. You can have a whole conversation with this person, but the way she remembers it will have you questioning, was there someone else? Was there a double ganger talking to you on my behalf? Because the conversation I remember and the things that you're saying, they're not making any sense. I can use one scenario. We were having a conversation and we laughed about something that I said. And it wasn't the first laugh, like we were laughing about something that I said, because even in whatever way, the context that the thing that I said was joke. And the funny thing is, I have it over the phone. I even sent it to my friend after this chick came back and said that was not the case. She didn't even laugh. She felt very uncomfortable and she felt very set back by what I said. And when I told my friend like this and that happened, she was like, yes, when you say something like that, it can be misconstrued as you trying to sort of threaten someone. And I'm like, then trying to say. And it's not once that she's done this, severally. But for me, when people do things like that, when you start misrepresenting facts, you're basically lying. You're essentially lying. And for me, when you start lying about someone, I don't think there is a boundary or there is a wall or there is anything that can stop you from doing whatever you want to do. Because I've seen how much lie. And I've seen people lie through their teeth and say, this is actually what happened, when it's not what actually happened. And will stand in their lie for years, 20 years, 30 years. They're still standing in their lie. And you left there wondering, like, you don't even have an ounce of empathy towards this person that you lied about. Anyway, back to now Blake and Baldoni. When Blake misrepresented, maybe being aware or not aware, when she misrepresented the facts of these conversations that they were having on set, when she misrepresented the item that she had said they had agreed on, you see, now these are the things that I'm saying. There is nothing these people won't stop at to destroy someone if they're comfortable lying about someone. One of the things that she had listed in her document was a list of agreed upon rules or practices that they had agreed during the filming that these things were not supposed to be happening or they should stop happening. And the way, from the phrasing and from the number of things that they had agreed on, in a like it does not match what the other team has. First of all, what she represented to the New York Times, I think it is the New York Times, to the newspaper, were 30 points. Like that he agreed, like we will no longer do this, we will no longer do that, this shall stop, like we will no longer show pornography, we will no longer show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She presented 30 points to this publisher. But the Justin's team, on the other hand, they only have 17 points of the doc that they had agreed on, and these were things that even Justin's team by then thought it was common sense. Like, we have an intimacy coordinator, we have this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are already set on set, but if she wants them to be in writing that we've agreed this is what we are going to do, then this is what we are going to do. So unaona already, like, these people, instead of presenting the points that they had agreed on in the context that it was agreed on, they've manufactured their own thing so that they can appear more sympathetic. So the minute that Justin came back with the text evidence, with like the context for these conversations, like, he's not saying we didn't show this video. He's saying, no, we showed her a video of a woman giving birth, but it wasn't in a pornographic context. Like, yes, I called her sexy because, not even her, the outfits sexy because she wanted the outfit to be sexy, and she asked for my opinion, and I said, yes, this is sexy, this is not sexy. So it's not that these things didn't happen, but the context, she's manipulating the context of it. Now, the emotion yote nimewapatia nini, because I want us to jump into today's topic, which is psychological mind games that are played at corporate levels or let me just use workplace politics. And the reason I'm doing the workplace politics, Niju, growing up, you're thinking at some point, all of you are going to grow up. All of you are going to be adults, and adults are expected to behave in a certain way. So you realize you're really not grown when you get your first job, and the things that people are doing, the way that people are behaving, clicks. Like, these are the same bullies that we were growing up with. These are the same lazy people that we are growing up with. These are the same childish, immature people that we had in our lives growing up. Like, they never grew up. They never changed. It's only now that they are adults, but they're still not grown. Like, they're still not mature. Let's say, for example, for me, when it came to my first job, the first job that I got, I didn't know much. And I still think our Kenyan system is lacking so much because I didn't know much from the interview, from the interaction with the bosses, from the hierarchy of reporting things, like the practical experiences of being in a workplace. I didn't know. So when I got my first job, and it was in sales, And some of the things that these people did, I didn't know they were wrong. So eventually, a few months in, it starts clicking, like this math is not adding up. Like 1 2 3 is not one plus one is not adding up to two. Like this thing is not making sense. And by that, what do I mean? My first marketing field, the first field work that I did, I was not given business cards. First and foremost, I thought business cards were only for the bosses. You say, like, I didn't know even lower staff like myself, an entry level staff, required business cards. So even when my manager gave me her business cards to go marketing with, I didn't think to write, like even to cancel her phone number and write mine instead, so that the clients can reach out to me. So instead, these clients were reaching out to her. And I'm in sales, so I'm expected to report by the end of the month. These are the people that I've brought in. These are 1 2 3 4 5. It wasn't until I think a month or so in that one of the people that I had a meeting with, after I gave them the card and they were like, you said your name was so and so, but on this business card it is, I'm like, that's my manager's business card. And she's like, and the number is still your manager's? And I'm like, yes, it's my manager's. And she was like, no, you're not supposed to have your manager's number. You're supposed to be giving people or clients your own number. And so hapo ndo ikaanza kuclick. Honestly, like I wasted a month and some weeks doing marketing for this place, but I can't even get the progress because the contacts on these cards, they're not even mine. And even the manager was not the kind of person who would tell you, so this company called, they were looking for you, should just take over and deliver whatever was needed. So for me, I feel like you being a young person, you being someone who is maybe looking to join the corporate side of businesses, maybe even an older person, but you've not been in the corporate side of business, this episode would be very beneficial because I'm going to give it from my perspective and the things that I've learned so far being in corporate. And one of them is blame games. Remember, the topic is psychological mind games at your workplace that you need to look out for. And this is now based on the Blake and Baldoni saga. One of them is blame games. The first thing that I learned, I quickly learned when it came to the corporate world, is no one wants to take responsibility for something going wrong. No one wants to take responsibility for something not working out. And if you're the deer in headlights, you're the one that people are going to blame. Like utapata kila mtu anasema yes. So eventually it becomes you're the one who is the problem. To make matters worse, if you're in sales and things are not working out, you're the one who is going to be blamed for the company not bringing in revenue. By that, what do I mean? Say, for example, in my second job, the second job that I did, it was still in sales. Not even the second, let's go back to the first one. I would give ideas and I would give things that we can do to bring in income. But the management was very analog in the things that they wanted to do. They were very analog. So every idea I would give was a step in the digital side of marketing. Like our Facebook page needs to be running. We need to be paying for posters. We need to boost posts and things of that sort. And they'd be like, no, we'd rather you go with the flyers and walk around and give flyers to the different company. Like it's traditional marketing, the field work. And me not knowing any better, let me do that. They've said this is what is going to work. Let me work on that. But every time I would give an idea, let's do 1 2 3, let's do this and the next. They'd either say, no, we can't do that right now. We don't have the money to do an idea. We can be, you can plant a seed of something today and the fruits of it are going to be seen maybe 6 months from now. Like it's not something that you just wake up in the morning and decide, let me boost something on Facebook, and then by evening you have clients booking. It doesn't work like that. Like, you have to see into the future and know this: if we implement 1, 2, 3, we're going to get to point B. But every time I would get shut down, like, we're not going to do that, not going to do this, we're not going to do the next, which was fine. The problem came in when the bosses, now my boss's boss, would come in and say, we're not bringing in sales, we're not bringing in revenue, we're not doing 1, 2, 3. Who do you think they would ask? Me, because I'm the one who is in sales. Like, you're here, you're in sales and marketing, we are paying you, but we're not seeing the results of what is to be done. Now you get blamed for not doing things, but remember, you're the one who was giving these different ideas on the things that you could do, but everyone was shutting them down, and the ideas that they're giving you, they're not working out well, or you find the returns that they're coming in from these ideas, they're not as massive as they would from the ones that you had recommended. By that, what I mean is, being given the flyers to go and give to the different shops and need for them to buy lunch, it will bring in some fruits. Maybe even that day, by that hiyo siku lunchtime, you'd have like 10 clients come in and buy lunch. On an average, let's say if each client spends 500 shillings, that is 5,000 for that day. That is still, it's still not that much money. But if we did the digitizing our marketing, if we did things of that sort, you'd find by the time this thing was getting fruitful, you're not just dealing with individual clients and walk-ins. You're dealing with different companies coming to do their conferences, coming to do their different like, you'd be in partnership with bigger clients when at the end of the month, these people are bringing me 100K, 200K or something. Anyway, now that is where I learned about blame games. It starts from you not knowing, you being ignorant. And now it also combines the one that we discussed with. We discussed with the Blake and Baldoni issue, which is the misrepresentation of facts. Every time someone sits back and decides to take of something else, unapata the thing to look out for usually is misrepresentation of facts. My boss would not stand up and say, she gave us 1, 2, 3 ideas, we shut them down because we thought we would implement something else in the place of that. But it's not that she's not working hard, it's not that she's not bringing in income, it's only that we shut down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're happy you getting blamed because it means they're not getting blamed. I don't know if you're getting it. Like, if you don't know how to navigate, because I didn't know I could stand up for myself and say, no, in fact, the reason this is not working out is because I gave these different ideas and no one took them in. No one no one supported the implementation of these ideas. So that's why we've not brought in, because I'm following the ideas of the managers. They're telling me to do 1, 2, 3. And eventually I learned my lesson, but I moved on. So what am I telling the young person who is listening to this? Be aware of these blame games. Just know they are going to happen. They are going to happen every time. Even when you do everything right, blame games in the corporate world ziko kwa wingi. Everyone, like, no one wants to be the one to be blamed for something. So they will be on the lookout for them. The second one is scapegoating. This one mirrors the blame games. Scapegoating. And scapegoating comes in when you're still unaware, when people misrepresent facts. And thirdly, when you're not around. You see, the thing of being around or not being around, I don't mean physically. You can be physically present, but you're not interacting with your colleagues, you're not you're not in any discussion with them, you don't have any relationships with them. Apple, they find it easier to scapegoat you because everyone thinks that you think you're better than them, so they want to scapegoat you so that unaweza exit. For me, I can give an example for this one. Let me give an example. Yeah, scapegoating. There was this chick I was recruiting into a certain company, and I had given her everything that she needed to do 1, 2, 3. And when it came to the meeting, she turned it around and said, let me not use that example. It's too fresh. Anyway, scapegoating. Let me use an older one. Another company I was working for. What was sales na nini, we have allowances, traveling allowances, airtime allowances. Those are standard. By the way, a lot of companies take advantage of people not knowing they are required to have this. So if you're in sales and marketing, I don't know that much, but if you're in sales, you're entitled to airtime allowance and you're entitled to travel allowance. Whenever you're going to see clients, whenever you're making calls, you're online, doing emails and whatnot, they're supposed to be catered for by the company. Now, for this company, when I joined, I found that they had allowance structure, 4,000 a week for the sales department. And after a while, there was this guy who was there. We were about 4 salespeople. There was this guy who was there and was also always eyeing me like, don't allow the allowance to go below 4,000. Like, do whatever you can, but allowance is here and below 4,000, which was okay. Like, for me, I know I'm very frugal, because when you're in corporate, you mostly lean towards traveling with Ubers, like the fastest and the safest means of transport. This guy didn't tell me that part. So I used to travel with matatus, I used to travel with motorbikes, and I would risk a lot doing that. Anyway, back to the scapegoating. Now, after a while being in this company, this guy left. We found him there, but he left. Then the chick who came in finance was the one who was giving. You see, we're supposed to be, every week, we're supposed to be given 4,000 shillings. This chick decided to start giving us 2,000 shillings. Ikiisha, you come and request more. So, of course, it's the company's policy. So, I took the 2,000 shillings. I traveled. What I did, I reduced the places that I was supposed to visit for that day, and I traveled 1 to 3 places. Instead of going to 4, 5, we used to go to like 6, 7 places. I started going to like 2 to 3 places in a day. Mali pesa itaishia hiyo siku. Then, how I was scapegoated in this scenario, this finance chick, this guy later came back, like after a few months, he came back to the company and found that this chick was giving us 2,000 shillings. Remember, the 2,000 shillings wasn't for a week. Anasema hiyo ndio iko. So si lazima utumie for a week. You can use it for a day or 2. Ikiisha, you come back and ask for more. That was the standard. So when this guy came back and anapata tunapatia 2,000 shillings, what did they start doing? Who was working with the 2,000 shillings? And I'm like, I wasn't the one who asked for the 2,000 shillings. I was given the 2,000 shillings. And instead of me, like fighting back and forth with the finance people, I worked with the 2,000 shillings. And like I said, I reduced the places I used to visit in a day, and I reduced the number of days that I could go to the field. Whenever I had a client, I would ask for more money and they would give me more money. But when this guy started saying I was the one who was causing their allowance issues, I was very confused. I even went to the finance and asked them, why are people saying I'm the one who requested the 2,000 shillings when you guys said you don't have the money, so you'll be giving us in 2,000 shillings a basis? And they were like, no, we gave you the 2,000 shillings and we saw it was working. I was like, no, it is not working. Because if you check the number of places that I used to visit in a day, I have reduced them to suit your needs. The number of days I used to go to the field, I have reduced them as well, because the money is not enough. So why are you guys saying I'm the one who is making this thing work. And the thing with that, you'll find that it will push you to another psychological mind game, which is usually fear mongering. Because a lot of people will start now plotting against you because they are thinking, and being passive aggressive, because they are thinking that you're doing that to be the favorite. You're doing this thing to be the favorite. And I tried telling that guy, the salesperson that came back, I never asked for the 2,000 shillings, and this is what they offered, and that is what I worked with. So it's not that I went and said 2,000 shillings is going to work. No. Hiyo wachaishi hapo. I don't know if he got over it. I don't care, but hiyo I told him no. Don't scapegoat me. Don't start making people hate me because of something that didn't actually happen. The other one that you need to look out for is office gossiping. This one, I don't like it. And the reason I love sales ni I'm not in the office a lot. I don't like it, this office gossip, because you find a lot of people will go deep into each other's personal lives. And when shit hits the fan, unapata, it becomes messy and unnecessary. So be on the lookout for office gossips. Be on the lookout for that. Just know it's going to happen. Be on the lookout for that. And just know you're going to be a topic for one day. The one that I've been having an issue with, a big problem with, is passive aggressive behaviors in the workplace. And by that, what do I mean? You find that you might be in conflict. Let me go back to the example I just gave. You might be in conflict, like with me and that guy, and instead of even this guy coming to me and saying, why are you working with these 2,000 shillings, or asking me like what happened, like when I left it was 4,000 already, says it's 2,000, and I would explain what had happened. What this guy started doing was office gossiping and talking to other people about me and that example that I was giving in that scenario. And now what that led to was passive aggressive behavior. Remember, we are working with this guy in sales, so we're supposed to be closer than any other colleague, and also helping each other out of crazy situations, like ile mnashikiliana here and there. So what this guy started doing was he would have meetings. We found him there, like I said, so he was in a higher rank than myself. He would have meetings with part of the sales team. I'm not there. So even when these discussions are happening, I'm not even aware. I don't know what is happening. Then later when I come back, unapata people will start giving you backhanded compliments. They start sabotaging your work by withholding things. So sometimes when I make orders, you'll find my orders are getting delayed so that you can look bad. Withholding information, delaying assignment, like you get yourself, you're not getting assigned even the good locations. You're not, like, people will just be passive aggressive to the point where you get really annoyed and then you step away. And be on the lookout for this, because a lot of people do this. And then the problem with passive aggressive behavior is it's difficult to point it out, because the minute you start telling your boss, hey, so and so is not inviting me in the meeting, you start looking like the Karen in the meeting. Like, you start looking like the bad person. So be on the lookout for this passive aggressive behavior. It's very crazy. And for the Baldoni and Blake issue, it was very, her name, his most, like, he played a inaitwa caricature. he played a character based on Justin, like passive aggressively being him, so that, like, to just irritate Justin and get under his skin. So be on the lookout for this passive aggressive behavior. The other one is credit stealing. Here I can just go directly to my example, which is, I didn't know about like, you have to report and you have to maintain. I'll tackle this briefly towards the end of the recording. that you're supposed to have a record of every interaction that you're having, by the way, because I used to have a huge database of clients, and these were big massive clients that were giving us these different orders na nini, allowing me to reach my sales target. What had happened, because I wasn't like, I'm not my boss's boss, my immediate boss stole credit for my clients. Like, he represented the clients to his boss like they were his. Like, he was the person who went there, who brought in this and that and the next. This happens a lot in the corporate world. It happens a lot. It doesn't have to be as direct as mine being in sales. It can be a credit even for an idea. Like, remember the first job, I used to give them ideas, but they would tell me that these were long-term things. These were things that we were not in a hurry to fix them. The challenge with that was, later on, like a few months later or something, our director would be talking about the same thing that I was talking about, but it was presented to him by someone else. Like, I would come and say, we need to implement 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to have these things done in this way. But mkifika kwa meeting, your bosses are the one taking credit for your ideas. Like, they're presenting them to him like, we were thinking to do 1, 2, 3. They're not saying Hannah was the one who had recommended this, or so and so was the one who had recommended this. No, they're just saying we were thinking to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. What do you think happens when that idea works out? It becomes theirs, so they can go back to the bosses and say, you see, this idea, we brought it in, and it brought like 1,000,000 Kenya shillings. Can I get a commission on that? Can I get this on that? And you're like, what? Anyway, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for credit stealing. Be on the lookout for playing favorites. By the way, a lot of bosses love doing this. Kuna kuaga tu na kale kamtu nika favorite ka boss wenu. And it doesn't mean in any sexual way or anything, but there are those people that are favorites to your bosses. Kuna micromanaging. I don't like being micromanaged at all. Like, constantly telling me I have to do this, I have to do the next. Like, you're there like with a stick, following up on every minute of my life. I don't like it, and I don't like this with micromanaging. And I hope a lot of people are going to, like, a lot of bosses are going to learn from this. When you're micromanaging people, what it does to them, it makes them, like, they psychologically, they decide to be incompetent. They decide to pretend they don't know anything until you tell them to do it. Because at the end of the day, you've made it your responsibility telling people what to do. So they will weaponize their incompetence against you. So normally in a scenario like in my case, I know when I wake up in the morning, I'm supposed to see 1, 2, 3, 4 clients. I'm supposed to draft 1, 2, 3, 4 quotation or proposals or whatever. Like, I know my work. I've scheduled my work very nicely. I know I'm supposed to do 1, 2, 3. I'm supposed to do this, that, and the next. The minute you start micromanaging me, I won't do anything. Like, I won't do anything, and it's not even you're ya weaponize my incompetence. I won't do anything. I'll just wait for you to tell me, by the way, have you done this? Can you do this? Can you do the next? And that ends up putting a strain on yourself and on the people that you're managing. And one thing I've noticed, nearly, like I said earlier, I last year I started managing someone, and from my observation, one thing I've learned is, no matter how hard you try, people have very different work ethics and relationship with their works. Personally, I enjoy the work that I'm doing, and in everything that I do, people say I go above and beyond or whatever, but I do it in a way that I'm comfortable with it. Like, when it's at the end of the day and I'm going to bed, I know I've done my best. Like, no matter the scenario. Hata ingekuwa you're telling me to peel potatoes, I will peel them in a way that at the end of the day, when everything is done, I'm happy with the work that I did. I don't care if you're happy with it. I don't care if someone else is. I don't care if it's above and beyond. But I'm happy with it. But one thing I learned about managing people is a lot of people would rather have you micromanage them so that they don't have to take responsibility for anything. They'd rather have you tell them, ukiamka asubuhi, enda ona huyu client. Ikifika saa saba, enda ona huyu. Ikifika saa kumi, andika quotation. Like, I can't do that. I have too much to deal with, and I can't add you to my schedule of managing things. You know what you're supposed to do when you wake up. Just do it, because at the end of the day, this same person will be the one who will turn around and say, I didn't do what I wanted because this is what you wanted. Like, I did this to make you happy. And you're like, wait, brother, at the end of the day, this is your work, I'm doing my work. You do your work, I do mine. Like, we don't have to tufai kuwa na mvutano. You just do what you're supposed to do. And also, a positive thing I learned about not micromanaging people for me is that people always push themselves. Kuna wengine ni wazembe, fine, but people will always push themselves. If you're not managing someone, micromanaging someone, the chances of you getting the best out of that person go higher than you micromanaging them. But anyway, you be on the lookout for micromanaging people and people who would want to be micromanaged so that they don't take responsibility for anything. Those two are coming hand in hand. The other thing is martyrdom. And this concept, I've learned it when I was researching about psychological mind games kwa workplace. And that is martyrdom. What does martyrdom mean in the larger context? Of course, martyrs, the people that were killed for the love of Christ or for their religion. Like, ni huyu mtu alikuwa amejitolea to the death. Like, no matter what, to the death, we are going to do this. And when that comes to your workplace, martyrdom means, like myself, nimekuwa nikiambia I go above and beyond. Like, but for me, like I said, it's not an intentional thing that I'm doing this to go above and beyond. I'm doing it so that I can be comfortable with my work. Like, if you tell me to draw you something, I'd rather do the best that I can to draw you that thing. I'm not going above and beyond. I'm just doing what I'm comfortable with. But I've seen people who have gone above and beyond in their workplace. Martyrdom falls under that, where people go above and beyond, mostly to their detriment. Remember, martyrs died, or the way English they're supposed to be called, martyrs. Martyrs died. Like, they're not celebrated because they're living. They're celebrated because they died for what they believed in. So these people at our workplace, they're the ones that will do everything. They will go above and beyond to their detriment, to the point where these people fall sick or fall ill. These people can even break their bonds, can even, like, whatever. They will do everything so that they can be noticed or acknowledged. And mostly when people are feeling the need to do this, I don't want to go into the psychology of the person because I'm not a psychologist and I don't know their psychology, but most of the time when people do this, they're usually seeking approval from someone, which means there's someone who is not, like, the immediate bosses or the person that they are working with or even the owners of the company. They are not appreciating this person. So unapata they're always feeling the need to try and do more so that they can feel appreciated. So this to the managers and the owners and the bosses, learn to appreciate even the small things. Like, make people comfortable in their roles so that they don't have to kill themselves so that your company can be successful. But anyway, to everyone else, don't be a martyr. Don't be a martyr. Unless it's benefiting you, because I've also learned kwa corporate world, things will benefit you. And now the final one was fear mongering and psychological projections. A lot of people will project their own psychological issues on you, and you just have to be very keen. You just have to go with your eyes wide open, because you'll find a lot of people know a lot of things, but they lack self-awareness, And that way they end up projecting their issues. You might be doing everything right, but if your boss has their own psychological issues, maybe psychological biases against women, they will project them onto you if you're a woman. If they have their biological, psychological needs unmet, they will project their issues on you. So be on the lookout for that. And now, how to navigate these ones, I'll just go point by point. I'm not going to delve so much into it. How to navigate these mind games. And one of them is identify the players. Identify the players and the game. Going back to the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's issues, if you read through what has been happening, you'd learn that during the filming or when it was happening, Justin identified who Blake was. Justin identified what game was being played. And what he did, which now brings us to the next few points, what he did was he became aware of his environment and the people that he was dealing with. And by that, what do I mean? Alichanuka, alifunguka akili. And so, this person, like I said, with that colleague mwenye, they love misrepresenting facts, like nonsense, like wanaipenda kama supu. What I do with them is I have a record of every conversation. Like I identified who they are, I identified the sort of games they love playing, and I became aware of myself in the interactions with them. Nikijua mtu anakutafuta anataka kukuchimba na nini, my interactions with them zilienda tu kama zimereduce, I try to keep it as professional as possible. Because these people, they can sabotage you. Like you've seen Blake sabotaging Baldoni. Anyway, the second one is be self-aware, be aware of the environment that you're in. Then keep a record. Keep a record of everything. Everything. Just have your record and be as truthful as possible. Just have your record. The second one is have a trail of all conversation and communications. Kwa corporate world, what I've seen a lot of people doing, even with myself, like people interacting with me, we would have a call conversation or we'll have a WhatsApp conversation, and then this person will follow up with an email and say, according to our conversation, we've agreed on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then it's upon me to say, yes, we've agreed on 1, 2, 3, but this number 4, we agreed that we are going to do it in this way, not in the way that you've written. Like have a trail, always have a trail. That way, if shit hits the fan, you can present your trail. You can present your conversation. Like I said, for me, when I realized what this person was doing, I made a deliberate effort to have our conversation in WhatsApp messages, or like even if it's a call, I make sure the conversation is recording. Because if someone can misrepresent facts, huyo na shetani, you're very related. Anyway, then understand your chain of command, and by this I don't just mean like know who you're reporting to and who that person is reporting to and who that other person is reporting to. Understand your chain of command. Know, even if someone is your boss, know who they are, understand who they are, so that you can know if you can report something to them. Like me, when I was saying about my ideas and whatnot, had I known this back then, I would not have gone to my manager or my boss's boss, like my manager's boss. I would have waited until we had a meeting with the director himself, and I would have presented my ideas to him directly. Because when these people are presenting my ideas, he was very receptive, and I was like, these watu wanaiba ideas zangu, then they're coming to present them here as learn the escalation techniques, like learn who you can escalate issues to, and even with them have a trail of the conversation and discussion. Kitu ingine imenisaidia sana, something that has helped me a lot in corporate, is mind your own business. Keep it very professional, mind your own business. That does not mean be a snob or not interact with people, or keep on your own lane. I've interacted with people, I've made connections with people, like I'm always on the I'm always in conversation with people and we joke around. But in as much as possible when it comes to work, I keep minding my business. Like this person would come and report me 1, 2, 3 is happening, and I would tell them very genuinely, I would love to help, but I'm the wrong channel of conversation. This is not my docket. If someone who I'm managing comes to me and say, I would want to have this and that implemented, that is something I can handle. And if I'm not able to, I'd just tell that person, you can send the email to so and CC me as well. Like you can go directly to my boss and CC me as well, because that is not something that I'm able to interact with. We can laugh, we can joke, we can enjoy life, but please, when it comes to work, mind your business. Make sure, it comes now to the next one. Make sure that your job, what brought you in, is already covered and taken care of. No matter the politics, no matter the psychological games, if your job, you're the accountant, and don't let what you're supposed to be doing suffer because of someone else. Just mind your business and keep it professional. The other one is learn the right ropes and keep your eyes open. Learn the right ropes and keep your eyes open. This one is now you joining the mind games. It's now you joining the mind games. It's now you knowing this person is the office gossip. This person, if I want a promotion, this is the person to batter up. If I want, just know the right people, know the right ropes, know how to navigate it. So that at the end of the day, you also want to grow, you also want to achieve more, so that you can also be comfortable. Then be open to learn and be open to get informed. Something that a lot of people, I think they've been traumatized in their workplace, but something that I found out with a lot of people in corporate, you'd try to tell them, to teach them techniques of how to navigate something or how to deliver a task or how to do something else. And they would be quick to say, Apana, no, I'd rather do it this way, I'd rather do it that way. There's someone I worked with a while back, and I would try show this person the shortcuts to getting to from point A to point B. And I should rather go to I don't know, Kilimanjaro, then I end Everest, then I end Wapi, then I end, so that they can come back to Nairobi. And you're like, sis, I'm just telling you, this is the right way. Like if you use this one, you're going, not even the right way, like this is the easiest way. If you do 1, 2, 3, you're going to get to this place. And they would waste a lot of time, energy and resources, and eventually it end up to collapse. Anyway, like you be open to learn and get informed. Like be open. A lot of people, even the workplace gossip, even they will teach you a lot. Hata your workplace gossip atakufunza vitu mingi sana that in the corporate world that you might not know. Then keep your wits about yourself. If as much as possible, mi nasemaga confuse watu kama shetani kabisa. Let people know whatever they want to know about you, but you keep your wits about yourself. Then finally understand that it is going to happen either way. These are things that no matter the corporate, I've worked for, I think, 3 companies now. 3 different companies now. And these cycles are there. They're there. There's always the workplace gossip. There's also always the favorite of the boss. Kuna mwenye ndiye ndio anakuwaga snitch. There's always, these things are usually there. The workplace cliques, the workplace whatever, they are usually there and they are present all the time. They are always there. So you just understand that it is going to happen. Even if you keep to yourself, you're somehow going to get looped into these shenanigans. You see now, like the example I was giving for Blake Lively and Justin. These are people that you're thinking they've achieved what they want in life. They're the superstars. They're the whatever. Blake is married to Ryan. They are a Hollywood power couple. Justin is someone with his own companies and whatever. But you see, bado the shenanigans, they are there. Bado these workplace mind games are there. So just know they are going to be there. They are going to be there. And one thing that, for me, it brings me a lot of peace is the one that I said. I do things, I deliver what I'm supposed to deliver. That is one. I do my best, the best that I'm comfortable with. Ikiwauma shida yenyu ikikosa sawa, I do the best that I'm comfortable with. That even when shit happens and everything, I don't regret it. I say this is what I did, this is my best, this is the best that I did, and that is it. And I'm okay with it. Like, I'm comfortable with it. That is one. The other one is you keep your wit about yourself and minding your own business. Because eventually there was a drama that I could have been involved with in my last job, and after everything went, like the drama exploded and everything went to hell, one of the people involved in that was like reached out qua WhatsApp. We were interacting on WhatsApp, and I told him I was very sorry about what happened. I was sorry about it, and I wished him the best. And he was like, thank you. If there's one thing I've taken out of this whole thing, is how, now he was done telling me, is how you kept yourself out of these scenarios. Like, no matter what, say I'm a matter. Utakuwa involved. You're going to get involved into this. In like you're just going to be, your name is going to be mentioned in these areas and these shenanigans. But if at the end of the day you're not the one who is actively trying to mess up with people or destroy their lives or things of that sort, you will be at peace. You're going to be fine either way. So I hope this one teaches a lot of you, especially the new people, because like I said, for myself, I didn't know a lot of these things were still happening. So the young people listening to me, be on the lookout for these things. I know this episode, why it's going to be a long one, but be on the lookout for the things that I've mentioned and learn to navigate them. And if you're that person who has to create chaos for your life to have a meaning, please find another meaning. Find something else to do. Find a hobby. Because I don't like these people. They're snaky. Nakwambia ni nyoka. They're snakes. Because they light up fires everywhere, and they don't care who gets burned. So thank you for listening, and this is going to be our first episode of 2025. Oh, this is awesome. And have a nice time. And I also hope that you're able to get your goals on schedule and you're going to achieve them this year. Bye.